You want to know what Los Angeles actually feels like to live in? Not what you see in the movies, not what you read in the relocation guide, but what it actually feels like on a Tuesday morning when you step outside your front door. This is it, right here, good family. Silver Lake Reservoir, 2 miles around, the Hollywood Hills in the background, people walking their dogs, and the farmer's market is just 2 blocks away. And some of the most thoughtfully designed homes in the entire city within a half-mile radius of where I'm standing. I'm Joseph Trujillo. Most people in the city know me as Mr. Los Angeles Real Estate. Before this, I spent 25 years in federal service, a United States Marine and a special agent across multiple federal agencies operating in about 55 different countries. I tell you, not that just to impress you, I tell you that because the skills that kept me alive in some of the most complex environments on the planet are the exact same skills I use every day in this market. Reading a situation accurately, moving decisively when the data is clear, and know when to hold, when to act. And right now, the data on Silver Lake is very clear. This neighborhood, one of the most iconic micro communities in all of Los Angeles, is in the middle of a window that's closing. Inventory is tight, days on the market are fast, and the buyers who understand this market are not waiting. Today, I'm gonna take you inside of Silver Lake, the back neighborhood story, the dining scene, including 2 Michelin recognized restaurants that define what this place is about. And I'm gonna walk you through one of the most compelling new luxury developments this neighborhood has seen in years. I'm Mr. Los Angeles Real Estate, and whether you're relocating to LA, already live in the city, and thinking about your next move, or a seller who has been sitting on some equity and wondering whether now is the time, stay with me. This episode was made for you. Silver Lake sits on the east side of Los Angeles, geographically and culturally. It's bordered by Los Feliz to the north, Echo Park to the south, and Atwater Village to the east. And if you're relocating to LA from virtually anywhere else in the country, this is the neighborhood people who already live here will tell you to look at first. But let me give you the actual history, because context matters when you're talking about real estate. Silver Lake has been a creative community since the 1920s. The reservoir itself was built in 1906, named after Herman Silver, a water board commissioner. The neighborhood that grew around it attracted architects, artists, and musicians who couldn't afford the west side but didn't want to compromise on character. In the 1950s and 60s, modernist architecture took root here. You see it today, hillside homes with clean lines, candlelight decks, floor-to-ceiling glass. Richard Nueta designed houses in this neighborhood. John Lautner was working nearby. That design DNA is still part of what makes Silver Lake real estate unlike anything else in the city. Then, in the 1990s and 2000s, the creative class doubled down on Silver Lake. Musicians, writers, directors, people who needed to be close to Hollywood in downtown without paying Hollywood prices. The neighborhood became known for its indie music scene. The Silver Lake Lounge, El Cid, Spaceland, Sunset Junction became a cultural touchstone. And then, somewhere around 2010, the rest of the country figured out what Silver Lake residents had known for decades, and the market responded accordingly. Today, the median price for Silver Lake home is approximately $1.5 million. Single-family home ranges from just under $1 million for a fixer on a smaller lot to well over $6 million for a hillside view property with the architecture and finishes to match. Average days on the market right now is about 34 days. Let me put that into context. The broader Los Angeles average county market is about 56 days. Silver Lake is moving at more than 40% faster than the county average. That is not coincidence. That's a neighborhood with a buyer pool that's consistently deeper than the available inventory. Now, let's talk about what actually makes this neighborhood what it is, because statistics alone don't explain it. The reservoir. This is Silver Lake's living room. 2-mile walking loop around 2 connected bodies of water surrounded by parkland, dog runs, and open meadow. On any given morning, you will see a cross-section of everyone who lives here. Young families, artists, professionals, people who have been here for 40 years, and people who just moved in last month. The Farmers Market runs every Tuesday and Saturday at the Sunset Triangle Plaza. Local produce, baked goods, specialty vendors. It's been operating continuously for years. That kind of institution doesn't exist in neighborhoods that are just passing through a trend. It exists in neighborhoods with roots. Now, Sunset Junction. Right where Sunset and Santa Monica Boulevards intersect is the commercial heart of Silver Lake. Independent coffee shops, boutiques, restaurants that have been here long enough to have regulars. Intelijista Coffee has been here since 2007 and still has a line. That tells you everything. And then there's the architecture. Spanish bungalows from the 1920s, mid-century modern hillside homes. New construction designed by award-winning architects trying to earn their place along legacy buildings. On the same block, you can see a 1927 Spanish revival with original tile work sitting next to a 2025 new build with 14-foot ceilings and a roof deck. For sellers watching this right now, the architectural diversity is your advantage. There's no single comp in Silver Lake. Even well-positioned, well-presented home in this neighborhood has a distinct story, and buyers are willing to pay a premium for a property that cannot be replaced. For my buyers, understanding what you're getting into, Silver Lake is not a neighborhood where you might offer low and wait. Properties are priced correctly here and receiving multiple offers within the first 2 weeks. If you're serious about this market, you need to be ready to move when the right home becomes available. That's the neighborhood. Now let me show you where to eat. If you want to understand why people pay a premium to live in Silver Lake, start with the food. And if we're talking food, we start at Pine and Crane on Sunset. This is Taiwanese cuisine done the right way. No gimmicks, just clean, precise flavors. Scallion pancakes, dan dan noodles, hand-pulled tea, the kind of food that makes you feel like you've actually traveled somewhere. It earned a Michelin bib Gourmand designation. That is not coincidence. That's a neighborhood that takes eating seriously. Then there's Botanica. And if Pine and Crane is the neighborhood's precision, Botanica is its soul. Wine-forward, plant-driven, California seasonal. The kind of restaurant that's been on the Michelin Guides list and still feels like your most stylish friend's dinner party. They also have a spin-off called Bar Besito right next door. A tinned fish, natural wine bar that perfectly captures the Sunset Junction energy. Creative, unpretentious, and genuinely excellent. And just to show you this neighborhood never stops evolving, 2026 brought a brand new arrival to Sunset Junction. Amaguita, Afro-Latin, Dominican-inspired, chef-driven. Chef Alejandro Eusebio trained under some of the biggest names in Latin cuisine and opened this 34-seat restaurant just past March. Charcoal oven, fermented cocktails, plantain gnocchi, and a mural on the wall that tells you exactly where the food comes from. This is what Silver Lake does. It just keeps adding to the story. Here's something you're not going to find in most LA neighborhoods. A legitimate boutique shopping culture that you can actually walk to. Silver Lake has it, and it runs along the Sunset Junction in a way that feels curated rather than commercial. This is where the neighborhood's creative identity shows up on the street. Mohawk General Store is the anchor. Neutral, design forward, they carry Acne Studios, APC, sustainable indie designers, and a home section that feels like a gallery. Right next door is Mohawk Man. Same philosophy, strictly menswear, engineered garments. Our legacy drives Van Noten. This is not mall shopping, guys. This is intentional retail. And for the ladies, a short walk away you have Claire V, a brand that became the uniform of the fashion-conscious Silver Lake woman. A little Paris, a little Los Angeles. Structured bags, elegant basics, the kind of thing you wear everywhere and people always ask about. And then there's Lake Boutique. Been in the neighborhood since 2005. Women's clothing, local designers, and housewares. The kind of store that tells you a neighborhood has real character. And then there's Sunspell, the British heritage brand. They chose Silver Lake for its first Los Angeles flagship. That tells you something about who's paying attention to this neighborhood. When a London menswear brand with a 160-year-old history decides this is where they want to plant their flag in California, that is a signal. If you layer in the vintage stores, local jewelers, of course, the flea market on the weekends, and Silver Lake has a built-in retail ecosystem that you just don't find anywhere else on the east side. This is a place people come to on purpose. Everything in Silver Lake orbits the reservoir. Built in the early 1900s by William Mulholland, it was decommissioned as a water source in 2006 and has been on a long journey toward becoming something better. The Los Angeles City Council has already adopted the master plan, 116 acres of the reservoir complex converting to public park space. That's a generational upgrade to one of the most photographed spots on the east side. And when that happens, the homes surrounding it are going to feel it in their value. Silver Lake has a great secret that people don't talk about enough. It's the staircases. These are historic public steps, the music box steps, the Michelin stairs, originally built when the hillside was dense enough that residents needed them to get transit. Today, they're a fitness culture of their own. Morning hikes, photography, community. This neighborhood knows how to use its terrain. And the street art, it is everywhere. So expressive, bold, and always changing. You don't need to go to a gallery when the walls are the gallery. And I want to touch on something that separates Silver Lake from every other trendy neighborhood in Los Angeles. Its architectural legacy. Richard Neutra lived and worked here. His VDL research house is still standing on Silver Lake Boulevard and open for public visits. The Neutra Colony, a cluster of homes he designed between 1948 and 1960, represents the largest concentration of Neutra works anywhere in the world. Rudolf Schindler, John Lautner, Gregory Ain all worked in these hillsides. When you buy in Silver Lake, you're buying into one of the most significantly architecturally significant neighborhoods in California. That story doesn't get old. Now, who lives here? The people who choose Silver Lake are making a statement. Creatives, entertainment industry, tech professionals, people who want walkability. They're usually transplants from other cities like New York and Chicago, Miami. People who need a neighborhood that actually feels like a neighborhood. Silver Lake has indie music venues, fitness studios, vintage stores, coffee shops that smell like something good, and a community identity that has been consistently multicultural, diverse, and aware for more than a century. That combination is irreplaceable, and in Los Angeles, irreplaceable commands a price. Let's talk numbers, because this is a real estate channel, and Silver Lake's market in June of 2026 is telling a very specific story that buyers and sellers need to hear. The median sale price is running $1.4 to $1.5 million across the neighborhood. The price per square foot is $796 to $840. The average days on the market, 34 to 38 days. But here's what the average hides. The right properties, priced correctly, are going into escrow in 14 to 18 days. That is a competitive market by any measure. Now, what's moving the fastest? Renovated, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, detached homes with parking. priced between $950,000 and $1.15 million. Also, homes with permitted ADUs, especially detached units with separate entrances. In Silver Lake, a permitted ADU can add $150,000 to $250,000 to your value. And 3-bedroom plus homes with any kind of usable outdoor space, deck, terrace, rooftop with a view, hillside position with reservoir sightlines, you're going to get multiple offers, no questions. Now, on one of my favorite subjects, on the development front, the city is not just standing still. The LA Planning Commission just approved 76 new 1-bedroom apartments at 2413 North Silver Lake Boulevard. The design preserves the existing 48 rent-stabilized units on site and adds 3 new buildings rising 4 to 5 stories with landscape courtyards, connecting the old and the new. Separately, there's an approved mixed-use project coming to 3225 Sunset, 86 apartments above 8,000 square feet of ground floor retail. And the crown jewel in the pipeline, the Silver Lake Reservoir Master Plan, already adopted by the City Council, converting 116 of the 127-acre complex into public park space. Now that project, when completed, will redefine what it means to live around the reservoir. Silver Lake in 2026 is not a neighborhood in transition. It's a neighborhood in confidence. Tight inventory, competitive pricing, architectural pedigree, and a dining and lifestyle scene that just keeps deepening. A city that is actively investing in its future with park expansion and smart infill. If you're thinking about buying here, or if you own here and are trying to understand what your property is worth right now, I want to have that conversation with you. Call me directly, text me, reach me at the link in my description. My job is to help you make the smartest move possible in this market, and I'm very good at my job. Okay, before I close, I want to give you the market context that most agents won't take the time to explain. Silver Lake's inventory situation in 2026 is a product of 2 converging forces. First, the neighborhood has very low turnover. People who buy here tend to stay. The long-term ownership rates are super high, which means the supply of available homes is structurally constrained, not temporarily tight, but fundamentally limited by the character of who lives here. Second, demand has not softened. Silver Lake continues to attract the relocation buyer profile that has driven this market for the past decade. People from high-cost, high-density cities who want the lifestyle of an urban, walkable neighborhood without New York or San Francisco pricing love it. At 1.5 as the median, Silver Lake is expensive by most country standards, but it is not expensive by the standard of people who are choosing it. For my sellers, if you've bought in Silver Lake between 2014 and 2019, you're sitting on equity that most people in most markets will never see in their lifetime. The question is not whether it's a good time to sell. The question is whether you have the right representation to capture the full value of what you've built. For my buyers, the window in Silver Lake is not closing tomorrow, maybe the next day, but it's not opening wider. If you've been watching this neighborhood and waiting for prices to soften, I'm sorry. I want to be honest with you. The data does not support that outcome. The structural supply constraints are real. The buyer demand is real. Waiting has a cost. The information I have on this market, the off-market inventory, the buyer activity, the pricing data at the street level is something that you will not find on Zillow or Redfin. That is what a conversation with me looks like. My contact is in the description. Let's connect. All right, guys, as you've seen, Silver Lake is not a trend. Silver Lake is not a moment. Silver Lake is one of the most luxurious opportunities in all of LA County. It's been earning that status for over 100 years. So whether you're moving here from across the country, upgrading from somewhere within the city, or maybe you're a seller that spent years building equity in one of LA's most iconic zip codes, The conversation starts here. I'm Joseph Trujillo, Mr. Los Angeles Real Estate, Ambassador for you EXP Luxury, and this episode was produced in association with the one and only LA Style Magazine. Subscribe below. A new episode drops every single week. I'm gonna feature a different neighborhood, a different conversation, and always the market intelligence you need to make a real decision. Drop your city in the comments, sign up on the link below, and I will see you at the next episode. Let's go.